Hi, everybody. This is Samantha, or Miss Bastastic, and I'm doing another video to give you an update on my medical condition that I had, and well, specifically, I had type 2 diabetes. And the last time I did a video was like, July of this year. This is 2015. I was diagnosed May 27th, 2015. I was supposed to do another video at the end of September after I went to the doctor and had my last appointment, but I didn't do it. And I have several reasons for not doing it. The main one was I was just lazy, but really I wanted to also make sure that the results that I got stuck. And I wanted to see if I could go back to having a normal or more normal lifestyle, more normal eating habits, and etc. I just wanted to see if I could continue with it, how strenuous I needed to exercise, how much dieting I needed to do, etc. And I can tell you that I am actually truly cured. And my life is not strange and weird. My dieting habits are not strange and weird. A diet is just what you eat. So if you have a garbage diet, you eat a lot of junk food, but we tend to think of a diet as always some sort of method of losing weight. But, you can have a diet where you just gain weight or you don't care. Diet is what you eat. So let me apologize up front because right now we're on vacation and you can see my favorite room behind me. That's my kitchen and I love to eat. You might hear the sound of the ocean because we're on the beach. And you may also hear a Hispanic lady yelling at her kids because our caretaker, the kids are off for Christmas vacation. And this is like the first day and they are cutting up. I mean, seriously. So I think she's already beat them like a couple of times or something. Anyway, that's her kids. I don't have any yet, so I don't have to beat any kids. Okay, so I'm going to show you my results, and I'm going to show you the lab work first, and I'll show you. I'll basically go through that and show you how I've improved. Actually, you know what? Let me do this first because I had a weight loss goal. Like when I first started this, I said, okay, I'm going to do low carb because once I was diagnosed with diabetes, I'd already had PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome. And anyone who's had that or knows someone who has it, it's just a beast of a condition. I mean, you literally, your periods aren't right or you don't have any, which had happened to me. I stopped having them for like a year and a half. You get all this hair growth like here. I don't know if you can see that. That's not acne. I don't have an acne problem. This right here, this is not a shadow. This is like from hair having grown on my chin and stuff like that. That comes from all the hormones being messed up from having PCOS. It causes all kinds of problems. And they also have found that women that have PCOS are more likely to get diabetes before they're age 50. Well, I just had a birthday recently and I'm 38. So I just got diagnosed this year. I got diagnosed when I was 37. So you definitely are at risk of getting diabetes. And even if you have it, because the doctors don't really monitor it the way that they should, one blood sugar test is not going to tell them whether you have diabetes. They have other tests like what I'm going to show y'all later is the A1C test, which is a better test for diagnosing diabetes than just a random fasting blood sugar or something like that. Either way, when I started this, I said, okay, I'm going to do low carb because I knew that sugar, when you eat foods that convert to sugar quickly, like potatoes and rice and pasta and bread and stuff like that, that drives up your blood sugar. So anybody who's met a diabetic, they'll tell you, "Ooh, girl, I can't eat bananas, girl. That just drive up my blood sugar." Oh, I can't eat no watermelon, girl, but I love me some watermelon, and it just drives up my blood sugar. So, and they call it having the sugar or having sugar, So quite literally, if you've been around people that are diabetics, you tend to know the stuff that affects their blood sugar. So I tried to avoid this. So I said, okay, the best way to do that is with a low carb diet. So that's what I focused on initially. And I did about 26 days of low carb diet. And then during that time frame, I was doing more and more research I told you guys that I found out about Dr. Fung. That's Dr. Jason Fung. That's Jason. His last name is Fung, Fung. He has a channel on YouTube. He's out of Toronto, Canada. He's an excellent kidney doctor, and he's talked all about how fasting can help diabetes. He talks about not just fasting, but dietary, the things you need, health-wise supplements, etc., all the things that contribute to creating diabetes. So if you listen to the things that go into making it, I'm sorry, y'all gonna hear these birds too, because it's still morning time, and being that we're in the tropics, these birds are loud, you know. But the thing is, you know, when you watch his videos, and I watched about 20 something hours of his videos, I learned everything I could. I also listened to Dr. Richard Bernstein. That's Richard. His middle initial is K, I think, and last name is Bernstein, Bernstein. He has a channel also on YouTube. He's more focused on type 1 diabetics, but he does talk a lot about, he also knows the history of diabetes, like, and why the American Diabetes Association is such bull crap, you know. And you can't listen to these people because they'll tell you to eat a lot of carbs and all this stuff. Basically, they'll keep you sick. I mean, they're sponsored by or paid by the food industry. So you can't trust people that have, it's kind of like putting the drug addicts in charge of the rehab center. You know what I mean? They're not going to get anybody off drugs. They're the drug dealers. If they're the drug dealers are in charge of the rehab center, nobody's going to kick their habit, okay? So it's the same thing. But basically, I'm going to show you this. And also, I'm going to apologize because I don't have any makeup on or nothing. And you can see my eyebrows have not been tweezed or nothing. I mean, I'm on vacation. I don't care. Okay? So, let me show you this. First, I'm going to show you my lab results. Okay? So, let me put this on. Let me zoom back out of this. Okay. So, I go to the VA for my labs. And as you can see, this is from, they say lab cumulative from March 29, 2015 through September 28, but that's actually not true. March 29th is when I first signed up for VA healthcare, because even though I'm a veteran, I just had never done it. So I've been out of the military for years and never went and signed up for my benefits. Okay, so the first appointment I had is actually right here, May 27. I hope y'all can see my mouse. And on May 27th, this first line right here is actually the blood sugar. And you can see that on the 27th, I had a fasting blood sugar of 195. That is just really way too high. Anywhere from 70 to 100, or as they say here, 70 to 99 is normal, okay? So the thing is, it's like, let me see if I can do this here. I don't know if I can do this here, right here, okay? So anything from 70 to 99 is normal. However, 86 is average. So if your blood sugar is creeping towards 100, you're already building up insulin resistance. Diabetes is not an overnight condition where, bam, suddenly you got diabetes. It's building up. So you want to make sure you monitor that. Doctors really don't give a damn until you get past the point of being, you know, clinically diabetic, but there's a progression, so you really should pay attention. So like I said, this was my first number right here of 195, okay, and that was May 27th. That's when I started doing low carb, and I started walking 6 days a week, 1 hour, and I mean, I just walked as hard as I could. Then on June 26th, I went back to the doctor, and I had, instead of seeing the doctor, I just had the labs done, and it was down to 123. That's a fasting blood sugar. So that's that blood sugar you take after you haven't ate that night, you haven't eaten for like 8 to 10 hours, and you go get your blood sugar done in the morning, okay? And here's another one. And actually the first one, interestingly, you see the time? This is 11:09. I actually hadn't eaten for 15 hours and it was still 195. Okay, so that's crazy. And I tend to go to bed a little bit late, but still. Then the next time I went back, it was 105. So obviously I was going in the right direction, okay? But notice they still put an H under each one of these because these numbers are high. They're still diabetic range. Now, finally, when I went back to the doctor the last time, end of September, it was under 100. But like I told you, the number that's normal is 86, okay? So I wanted 86. Now, how do I get to 86? That's what I was trying to do. Now, as I got better and healthier, it took a lot more and a lot longer to get the blood sugars lower and lower. I also wanted to show you what happened with my cholesterol, okay? So let me see if I can do that. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just getting used to this screen reader. Okay, so right here, there's that bird again. Okay, so right here you can see what my cholesterol numbers were looking like. So this is the first cholesterol right here. Okay. And let me see if I can do it here. Okay, so it was 214 for my total cholesterol. All right, and then that dropped, and that was in July. It dropped down to 162, and now it's down to 150. So this is excellent. Okay, and I just want to show you these dates. So like I said, that was June. So May 27 to June 26. So that was exactly 30 days. All right, so in 30 days, I also had a drop of 215 to 82 on my triglycerides. This number, your triglycerides, is the most dangerous number you have. The higher this is, the more likely you're going to have a heart attack. And they know this. This is something that it's a number that needs to be low. Okay? You really need to focus on getting those triglycerides down. But you can't do that eating a lot of carbs. Okay, so you really do have to make sure that you maintain a healthier diet in order to avoid having high triglycerides. As you can see now, my triglycerides as of September 25th were 65, which is awesome. Okay. Also, I had a problem with my HDL. When I did the low carb diet, I wasn't really eating all the right things. So my actual HDL numbers dropped. So that's supposed to be the good cholesterol. So it dropped from 40 to 30. And then I incorporated back into my diet things like more eggs, more liver, etc. And I got that number back up. Okay. Now, and of course more fish and stuff like that. My LDL number also dropped. So it dropped from 131 to 116 to 101. Now, I'm not too worried about this. Even though that's the top of the normal range, what happens when you do a low carb diet is that you end up with different types of cholesterol particles. You end up with like the fluffy particles of cholesterol. And those are very good for you. But this test that the doctors do, when they do your cholesterol, your triglycerides, your HDL, and your LDL, they're not testing for the type of cholesterol. So if you have LDL particles that are like this, let's say they're big and fluffy like this, those are very good. They just bounce through your bloodstream and they don't really damage your arteries or anything like that. But if you have little beady ones that are really hard like this, okay, and the number of particles is a lot, then those are not good for you. Now, the test to get those to find out what type of cholesterol particles you have is kind of expensive. I think it's called the NMR lipid profile. That's November Mike Romeo. Don't ask me what that means. I think it's something about like magnetic resonance or something like that. But it's an expensive test. It's about $150. So that's why they don't do it. Okay. So, but that's the most important numbers to find out what type of LDL you have. So let me go further. So you can see I've had this great improvement from doing low carb and walking. And I just wanted to let you know this too. I started fasting. My first fast was the 22nd to the 24th of June. And then I did several little fasts between there. I never fasted more than 5 days, and only fasted 5 days once. And that was at the very beginning of September. And I did not fast the whole month of September. I did not fast. I only fasted the first 5 days, and that was it. And the reason is I wanted to make sure that my last lab results were correct and I was not manipulating them just by fasting. So basically I spent like 20 days not fasting and I still had a fasting blood sugar of 95 and all these other great numbers. So I'm going to show you my A1C. Now the A1C is the most important number. I'm going to have to go to the second page. Let me see. Oh, come on. Okay, where is that? Okay, here it is. Okay, so the A1C is a measure of how much sugar is stuck to your red blood cells. And your body recycles all of your blood cells and basically gets rid of the old ones and creates the new ones. So none of the blood cells in your body are older than 4 months old. So the A1C takes about 4 months to get. It takes about 4 months of normal numbers for you to get your true reading. So if you're doing anything to change your diabetic condition, and let's say you're making improvements, as you're making improvements, so let me show you what it means. So like here, like let's say it's like a triangle. So let's say this is your high number, okay? And over a period of time, you're bringing your number down like this, right? So it's going lower and lower, right? But it takes time. So this, over a period of time, your blood is recycling, but what's happening is, let's say this is month 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, I'm writing with a mouse, and month 4, right? So what happens is, even if you're measuring right here, you're still getting all of the readings from the sugar, the higher sugars you had for the previous 4 months. So you would have to actually be like here and stay like that, and then at month 4 it will give you an accurate reading of the previous 4 months. Okay, so I'm hoping y'all understand that. So what's happening is, as I do this A1C test, my initial drop was really great. So here is my initial drop. When I first was diagnosed, it was 9.0. Now that is high as hell, okay? And there's a formula for determining what the A1C is. And the formula is whatever your A1C, I want to get this right, okay, times, and I'm using the formula that was the original Diabetes Association formula that Dr. Bernstein uses, times 35.6, okay, minus 77.3. Ooh, I know that looks terrible, okay? So let me show you what I mean by this. Okay, let me see if I can get this to, come on, computer. Okay, let me see if I can get my, let's do the calculation here. Okay, so at 9 times 35.6 minus 77.3. I had an average blood sugar of 243 when I was first diagnosed. This is not the same as a fasting blood sugar. This is the average, basically, of all the time that I was eating, not eating. I was averaging a blood sugar of 243. That is ridiculous. When an 86 average is normal. You don't want to have an average blood sugar of 243. Okay, that's very bad. So I'm gonna kind of hold on a second. I'm gonna kind of leave that up. Oh, come on, computer. All right, let's go back to here. Okay, so it dropped to 7.7, and that was 30 days later. And that's a huge drop, because what's normal is actually 4.6. A 4.6 A1C is normal. And if you want to know more about that, you can read Dr. Bernstein's book. So let's see what a 4.6 A13 is. So at 4.6 times 35.6 minus 77.3. That's an average blood sugar of 86. Okay, so that's my goal. My goal was a real goal. Now, if you deal with a doctor, the doctor will tell you, oh, they just want your, hold on a second, I'm gone past that. They'll tell you that they want your A1C. They'll tell you that they want your A1C to be like at 6, okay, or even below 6. Actually, the doctors don't really focus on you getting rid of diabetes, because their presumption is that you will always have this for the rest of your life, and that they're just going to medicate you right to your grave. And that's what it is. They're going to give you drugs and pills, and then they're going to have to give you more drugs and pills, and then they're going to have to give you more, and then they're going to have to give you insulin, and then they're going to have to start cutting stuff out of you, like cut off your gangrene foot, or maybe take out your eyes or something, or whatever. They're going to have to start doing stuff to maintain your body, which is falling apart because you haven't gotten rid of this disease. And that's their expectation. Like I told you guys, at 10 years, my doctor told me straight up, she said, after 10 years, you're not going to, this medication I'm giving you is not going to work, and you're going to start getting all the symptoms. Well, I already had the symptoms because I was already developing neuropathies. I already was having problems with my legs burning and my feet going numb and all this. So I already had the symptoms. So what the hell was she talking about? So anyway, so in September, my A1C dropped to 5.3. So let's see what that is, okay? So at 5.3 times, what is it, 35.6 minus 77.3. Now, this is not a formula you're going to find on the government website, because the government uses this new formula, which is not right. It's skewed toward making your numbers look better than they are, okay? But they aren't. And this actually correlates with my own measurements of my blood sugars. So at 5.3, my average blood sugar was down to 111. Which is still great. That's awesome. That's so much better than what it was. Okay, so I'm done with that. Let me close this out. All right, so that's where I've been. Now, I've done some Walmart tests. I've done some Walmart tests, like the A1C test they have, which is like, how much is that test? Like $22.88 or something. Some of the tests were very accurate. Some of them were garbage. Some of them were defective, so it's a hit or miss. And if you have a defective test, just call the 800 number and they'll send you like a gift card or something to reimburse you. Either way, but it was still good to let me know whether I was going the right direction. So I wanted to show you something that's happened since I've been on vacation, because I've been here. Hold on a second, because they're using the hose. It's getting loud. So, okay, so I've been on vacation since October 26th. So I wanted to show you this. This is my chart for where my blood sugar was. So you can see when I started, I hope you guys can read that. This point here is May 27th, and that was my fasting blood sugar of 195. I've been charting my blood sugars ever since. And these are all the numbers I've been charting. And normally I will chart everything from, I'll chart breakfast, lunch, dinner, before bed, during snack, after exercise, before exercise, etc. Now, what I found is that consistently, I could never get my morning blood sugar, and this is the morning right here. These are all my morning blood sugars, okay? So I'm going to show you what I mean. You see, before exercise and morning, and that's how I list my morning blood sugars, because some days I exercise, some days I don't. So in the mornings, it was never below 100, except for like one day in August, and it was crazy. It was like 1 point, period, 1 point out of all these months, only one day it was below 100. So I thought that it would just be high. They have this thing called thing called the dawn phenomenon. So what they say is that at night, when you sleep, your body releases hormones like cortisol and all this other stuff, and for some reason, and adrenaline, etc., and it raises your blood sugar. So every morning my blood sugar was high, which was strange because throughout the day between meals, it would be lower than my morning blood sugar. So I was like, what the hell's going on, right? Now, I did notice that if I ate at night, depending on the time that I ate my last meal, it could raise it 10 points. There could be a 10-point difference based on how late I ate my last meal. So I learned not to eat late, especially not right before I go to bed. But it still didn't correlate, because I was like, how can my average blood sugar be 111, but my morning numbers are still like 125, 116, you know what I mean? And that was important to me. And it told me that I still was sick. So when I got to Honduras, here's what happened. I want you to look at this. This is right here. This is October 31st. That's 102. So I was like, okay, it's getting low, right? But when I was in the States, you can see where it was going, how my numbers quite literally up until this point, from here backward, all this, okay, it was never below 100 except for that one time. So I said, okay, how is it that this is dropping? So what I did was I only take my morning blood sugar while I'm on vacation, because I told my husband I'm not going to prick my finger all day. I'm on vacation. I don't care. I think I'm fine, you know. So what I noticed though is when I took my morning blood sugar numbers, now this is the 100 line. You see all of these numbers below 100? That's crazy. See, because what I know is that statistically, if you have all of these numbers dropping below a certain level, that means that this now is my new normal right here. This is my new normal. My new normal average is closer to 86 than it is to 100, and it's definitely below 100. So something has happened, right? And that is what I'm excited about, because I think, okay, and this is what I'm going to tell you guys. I think that something here has helped me to finish the rest of whatever I needed to get rid of diabetes, because it was already low. It was already in the normal range according to science and according to the doctor. Like even the last time I went to the doctor in September, she was like, "What are you doing? Wow, you've done great," because I haven't taken any medication. If you saw my last video, I talked to you about that. They prescribed me Lipitor and glipizide and metformin and all this stuff. I didn't want to take that crap. So it's still in the packages at my house, like on the table or something. I haven't even opened the mail packages to look at the bottles. I just know I got the prescription because it's right on my medical records with the Veterans Administration. But the point is, I didn't take any of that. I didn't take anything. I didn't take any aspirin. I didn't take nothing. I mean, I don't want to say I didn't take nothing. That's a double negative. I didn't take anything, right? So the thing is that was the last thing I was concerned about. So I said, well, what could it be? And granted, the food here is healthier because I am in the tropics. The eggs are natural, they're organic, you know, the yolk is orange instead of yellow like it's supposed to be. But I'm getting a lot more sunlight. And I really think the sunlight is probably the most critical thing. My husband says, oh, it's less stress and all this. And I'm like, he don't realize. He thought I was stressed. I was never stressed because I don't too much care about stuff like he does. But, you know, the thing is that I really think it's the sunlight, because I got tanned and I got heat rashes and all this. And I really think that the vitamin D levels that are in my body increase. Plus, I've been consistently, and I was not doing this before, but I've been consistently taking my vitamin D supplements as well. I take magnesium, I take vitamin D, I take all these things, okay? So let me show you. I'm going to show you this last thing before I go. So let me close this out. There's my YouTube channel. Where is it at? Here it is. My before and after pictures. So I told you guys that my goal was to lose 30 pounds. Was to lose actually 12 pounds a month or something like that. Now, like I think 8. And I wanted to have 100 pounds lost by January. Well, I didn't do that. So I only lost about 30 pounds. So I did some before and after pictures. And you can see this is the same outfit, okay? Hold on a second. Oh crap. Okay, so this is the same outfit. You can see where I lost some weight. You can see it better in this one. And you can see the pictures the same height. I did not stretch these pictures out. My feet are the same. You can see where I had the really big giant gut and I had almost no waistline. And now I'm starting to have a waistline, you know, where it's supposed to get smaller in the middle. Okay, and this picture tells you the most too. Here you can clearly see my tire. So you see this going around here. and how fat this is. And I had like 3 sets of rolls, and these are the same outfit, the same size. I did not change the clothes. I wanted you to see what I look like in the same clothes, because a lot of these people do these before and after pictures, and they're lying. They'll like Photoshop the picture and all that. This is not Photoshop. This is actually me in the same damn clothes. Okay, so you can see the difference. So pretty much what I wanted to say is you can get rid of diabetes. Also, as for the PCOS, my periods came back. I now have a consistent 36-day cycle. Now, let me warn you, ladies, okay? And this is not for guys, unless your wife has this and maybe you want to help her or whatever. If you have not had your period for a long time, like me, I had it for I didn't have one for a year and a half. And then I started doing things like chase tree and stuff like that. And I would get a little bit of a period. It was not significant. I would just get a little bit of a bleed. I did progesterone to try to counterbalance the excessive amount of estrogen in my body. That helped me to have some bleeding, but it really wasn't a period. When I started this and I got my blood sugars down, it came back in full force. Okay, so what happened is, after my first period was normal. It was heavy, but it was, the healthy type. It was good. Okay. But the second one, oh man, I mean, I think I could have filled up a bucket. I'm not lying. I mean, I don't want to be gross, but I could have slept in the bathtub. It was horrible. And what I realized is that all of the tissue that had been building up, because that's what it is. When you have PCOS, you get stuck in the first phase of your cycle. So your lining just keeps building and building and building, and you never ovulate. And then what happens is because you don't ovulate, the corpus luteum around the egg, well, y'all can read about this, but when the egg pops out, there's this little thing that was left where the egg came from in your ovaries, and that produces progesterone. So you never get that increase of progesterone, but what happens is your estrogen just keeps increasing. The lining of your uterus keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker. So when you shed this thing, it's a lot of stuff. So you just need to set aside like a whole week of nothing. I mean, if you have a job and let's say you have you're going to need some sick days. Let's put it like that. Because when it clears, it's going to clear everything out. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I had massive cramps, and I've never had cramps like that even since then. And I've had pretty substantial periods, heavy periods, whatever, but I've never had cramps like that. That was crazy. That second period was just, once July hit, because I started in May. I got my first period at the beginning of July. But when I got that one in August, oh my gosh. Okay, and I have a 36-day cycle. I've timed it. It's consistent. I mean, down to the day, down to the very day. And I still want to get that shorter. I want it around 28 days. So I'm working on that. Okay, I'm still fat. I'm still overweight. I weigh, last I checked, let me see, I lost 30 pounds. So actually 34 pounds, something like that. So I weigh like 222. Okay. So before that, I weighed 256, and I'm not ashamed to say how much I weighed. So what? I'm happy I'm married. I hate skinny women anyway. No, I'm kidding. Skinny women think they're so sexy. You just skinny. Anyway, but so basically, what's happened is. I'm still fat. So it's not like you have to lose like 100 pounds in order to get rid of diabetes. You also don't have to do weight loss surgery. If you do the weight loss surgery is nothing but, Weight loss surgery is nothing but fasting. Because what they do is they force you to eat like this tiny little bitty amount of food. Your stomach is like about that big. You see, I got right there. Your stomach is like that big, and then when you want to eat a real meal with your family and stuff, you can't. It really changes everything in your life, and emotionally you're different. Now some people, they had a great experience, okay? But for me, I'd rather find the discipline to change my habits and to force my body to do what the hell I want it to do than to go get a surgery, because you can't reverse that. Certain ones you can, but even like the lap band and stuff, those are not good because you end up with all this acid indigestion and stuff. So they, most of the time, people get their stomachs cut down to a tiny little size. I didn't want that. And then when I got pregnant, I didn't want to have any issues of being vitamin deficient, and I didn't want any of this. And then what happens when you get old? What happens when you're very old and you need to eat a certain amount or whatever? You're stuck with this for the rest of your life. So I would seriously suggest that you try low carb. Try it because you're not hungry. I mean, I ate eggs, I ate bacon, I ate all this greasy stuff. In the mornings, what I tend to eat, let me see if I got a picture. I just want to show y'all some of the stuff that I cooked, and yet it's supposed to be healthy, right? Let me see. Let me see if I got this. I don't want y'all to laugh at me to see how bad I eat, right? Okay, like here. These are straight up pork chops. Now, once I got through like the first 30 days of low carb, I started putting some honey back into my food. I started using honey instead of sugar alternatives. But this is recently. This is like a month ago. No, actually a couple weeks ago. And this is like a spicy, sweet pork chop. Doesn't that look good? I mean, it was so good, right? Here's what's on the plate, right? So here's the pork chop. You got the cabbage. This is not rice. What you see, this is beans, black beans. And they're done with like garlic and all kinds of stuff. It tastes really good. And underneath that is wheat, whole bulgur wheat. It cooks like rice. It has a taste like rice, except it's a little bit nutty. It's delicious. That's what I eat. And that's a big plate. That's not a small little plate of food. Okay? So the thing is, I don't understand when people go on these diets and they don't want to, they don't want to eat. Okay? So basically, that's really about it. I mean, I just want to encourage you because there's not much information out there that's telling you the truth. And people try to get you to do a vegan diet. They try to get you to do all this other crap that's not convenient to your lifestyle. Like yesterday for breakfast, I swear it was 9 in the morning. We couldn't find anywhere to eat because here most people are either at church or at home or whatever the heck. And we ended up eating fried chicken for breakfast. Straight up fried chicken. I had a breast and a wing, and they were big. And I had fries, and I had I had coleslaw, and I had a Pepsi, a real Pepsi. And that's what I ate for breakfast. Because the thing is, the way to get rid of the diabetes is not to do bad things all the time. You need to change your habits so that you're eating healthier things, but you incorporate your exercise, and then what happens is your body resets. Once it resets, then you're good. You just have to maintain, and it's a blessing from God because I prayed about this. He's shown me dreams of what to eat, what not to eat. I know I can't have milk, like no ice cream, no milk. I still can't do that. I will not do that because there's something wrong with the milk. I mean, it's weird. The milk in the States, I immediately get, like within a day or two, I'll get a sinus headache. Sometimes same day I'll start getting a sinus headache, and I'll have this massive inflammation attack in my body, and it'll be horrible. So I can't do milk. So plus I also found out that the whey protein increases your insulin secretion. So you don't want to have more insulin in your body when you're trying to fight diabetes naturally. So you want to avoid that. Milk is bad. Hard cheese, not ricotta, not blue cheese, not cream cheese, not yogurt. You know what I mean? You want to do like hard cheese. You can do that just fine. Okay, but that whey protein, which is in the other milk products, include cream and sweet milk and whatever, it's terrible. You really need to avoid the milk. And I know it's hard. I love ice cream, and I've just had to break up with ice cream. I really have. I've just had to break up with it. I can't do it. So anyway, that's about it. And I'm hoping I didn't miss anything. Oh, my blood pressure. That was the last thing. So now my blood pressure readings are are lower. At first they were like 142 over 92, and I've gotten those down. It came down at the same time frame. So now my blood pressure normally is like 101 over 68, or 105 at the highest, 105 over 75. And I mean, everything just changes, period. So, that's about it. This is Samantha, Ms. Bastastic, and that's it. I'm signing off, and thank you for listening. God bless you, and have a great day.